Dave, we're in the Kohlmesse here for Gamescom 2023 in Cologne, and you've just been playing a game that a lot of people are very excited about, Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl.
Yeah, it was amazing to see the game, in front of me. The studio's had such an incredible story. Seeing the game coming together, being able to play it, it was both impactful for a Stalker fan, but just, a fan of games, an appreciation of the history of the studio. But the first thing that jumped out to me is the Stalker energy of it, the atmosphere, the sort of intensity, the brutality, the voice acting. People that have played Stalker before, the voice acting it's not the best, but it has nice character to it. All of that is there. So the slice that I saw was very early in the game, right at the start. You're waking up with a blind mutant dog trying to eat you. And you pull your Makarov out, try and shoot it, it goes click. All of a sudden you're wrestling this thing off you kick it into one of the anomalies, and it just bursts into flesh. And then all of a sudden a nearby Stalker comrade throws you a bolt, and the bolt is an iconic tool in the Stalker franchise because you can use it to distract enemies, but more importantly, disrupt the anomalies that will otherwise turn you to pulp. So you're immediately in familiar Stalker territory. Mutants, Stalkers, rusty bolt, weird anomalies. And then from there, it feels like it's a bit more open than other Stalker games. But again, it's been a long time since I played previous Stalkers, but I was struck by sort of the intensity of the gunfights, the atmosphere of a nuclear wasteland. It feels more open, but also in many ways more oppressive.
Yeah. I feel like it's been almost probably 20 years since the original Stalker. I feel like we just need to contextualize what Stalker is. What are you doing? What are you interacting with in the game? What's the setting for someone who just knows absolutely nothing about it?
I mean, for the people that aren't familiar with Stalker, it's the classic sort of nuclear post-apocalyptic survival, but dialed up. The drama, the horror, the gruesomeness, the survival elements. It's all dialed up. It's all that much more intense. As you take the role of a Stalker, the elite fighting force of the people that go through these wastelands and fight everything from bandits to weird mutant dogs. And I saw an enemy that was sounds crass, but it looked like a giant mutant testicle with legs and eyes. It was just this strange ball that was coming at me. And I was immediately yes, more gross Stalker stuff. You can hear your Geiger counter clicking in the background. It feels, all the hallmarks that are familiar with Stalker are there, but anyone who has an appreciation or enjoys the sort of post-apocalyptic survival vibe will enjoy this, but depending on the difficulty you play it, expect a rough ride, because that is something that Stalker is famous for. And there was a number of objectives which again made it feel like the game is aiming to be more open in how you can approach things. But as soon as I came across this base that was full of bandits, immediately bullets were coming my way. They were making me bleed. I'd have to duck into cover, bandage, try and heal, recover my stamina. The gunplay was tight, punishing both to and fro. They were going down in a few hits, but it was intense to sort of work around, and I knew that a few seconds out of cover was going to spell my demise. And I think it's vital that remains at the heart of Stalker.
Because tonally, it's very different from something like Fallout, right? Because Fallout is very much about the kind of wacky side of the post-apocalypse, or at least it can be. With its kind of supersized bugs and things like that. Whereas this is much more the kind of weird, almost cosmic horror sort of angle. Yeah,
cosmic horror, especially with the anomaly stuff, that's a great way of describing it. It is, and the previous Stalkers did have terrifying moments, and Metro is heavily inspired by Stalker, so it's nice that this game is coming back around, and there's real harrowing moments in the game, and it's important that they're there because obviously the setting itself is pretty harrowing. But as part of the demo, I was going through this decrepit cow barn, and all of a sudden the radio is blowing up Stalkers, there's emissions coming in, find shelter, and I'm what does that mean? This guy's going red at an alarming pace, what do I do? And I thought it was enough to just find cover, old decrepit building. No, immediately lost to the zone.
Right.
What you need to do is there's now actual bunkers and hideaways that you need to find. And there will be, a number of them dotted around the world. But the first one you find is a story beat. You have to go there. You have to get your way in and get underground. So it seems as if there's more elements at play that will again play into that survival element, encourage you to find shelter, make your resources count, go to ground. And it happened so fast. So I was in a gunfight with the weird testicle dog. And then all of a sudden this happened and I was like, I don't know what to do. My double barrel shotgun is low on ammo. The sky is turning red. This thing is trying to eat my flesh.
It's a tale as old as time. It's a tale as old as time. We've all been there. Very
familiar ground, but it's great. Like people love Stalker for the atmosphere. That is there in droves. One thing is, there were some graphical issues, and the developers during the session said, we are taking more time to polish. We're in the polishing phase. We want to make this, your adventure through Chernobyl, your adventure through a new Stalker game, as realized, as authentic, as atmospheric as possible. So they are taking some more time to polish it. So it's now releasing in Q1 2024. But of course, I think we can all appreciate, due to what the studio's been through, or due to the goals that they have in making sure that this Stalker is fully realized, that's understandable. I'm more than happy to wait a little longer to roam this cursed, bizarre, horrific world. It's still a little rough around the edges, but so much of what the classic Stalkers had was still there that it weirdly immediately felt familiar. So I think I think Stalker fans are going to be happy, but I think people that are interested in this game, and it's going to be their first foray, they're going to have a lot to sink their teeth into as well.
And it's coming to Game Pass, right? So that's a huge audience for a studio that, I would say Stalker is kind of like a cult classic.
Yeah, 100%.
And it would be great to see, especially as you mentioned, all the things that the studio has been through for their game to get such a huge platform. And Microsoft are clearly they have a lot of faith in it, I think, in terms of how they're interacting with it, putting it on Game Pass and featuring it in a lot of their showcases and things like that. So yeah, I think that's great for them. There was a big section of the Xbox booth, I think, that was taken over by Stalker. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. I'm looking forward to playing it. Q1 2024, you said?
Q1 now, it's been pushed back a little bit. It was originally winter 2023 or December 2023, but now it's pretty broad, but Q1 2024.
Well, for all the latest Stalker 2 news, keep it locked to GameSpot. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.